Hey now, it's the Rob from 106.1 KISS FM alongside my broadcast colleague.
Yeah, how's it going? Eric Cornish with 99.5 WKDQ. And with the Enhancement talent today, we've got a special guest, the one and only Walter Barron from IWA-U.
That's correct.
IWA, and what does that stand for?
It's Independent Wrestling Alliance Unlimited. It's a group that we started up in Albany, Illinois, and we're beginning to branch out into different areas. And I'm very active in the local group here in Fort Branch, just outside of Evansville. It's IWA-U Adrenaline.
Okay, and we will address that show coming up
Yes.
here in part 2. But first, we're going to talk about the business like we usually do. And first thing I guess we ought to address, we were going rowdy last night. Front row, well, we weren't front row, but we were ringside last night.
We were close enough that it can sometimes get uncomfortable.
WWE Live at the Ford Center. And I got to say, that's one of the most fun live events I've been to in a long time.
Yes, it was a great live event. This is the first time you and I were able to sit next to each other.
I know. The Enhancement talent in full effect.
How many years have we been working together now? Like 5,
Something
6?
like that, yeah.
And the first time we got to sit next to each other, and we did have a great time. I thought that a lot of the guys put on a great show. There wasn't many people phoning it in. I thought the best match of the night personally was Ziggler and Del Rio.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to agree with you on that. I thought they worked great. That's one of those that they put right before the intermission, to kind of get the crowd pumped up and send them to intermission happy. That's always something that they seem to do. And that one was great. I thought they worked hard. As a couple spots in the match, I believe I even made the comment, "Come on, guys, this is just Evansville, Indiana, easy."
Were you there last night, Walt?
No, I didn't go last night. I was recovering from a weekend, and unfortunately, I did not get to go. I wish I had, especially I'd like to see some of those guys in person, Ziggler and some of the others.
I will say some of the other guys that kind of surprised me that worked really hard last night and looked great. Batista and Sheamus put on a great match last night.
Wasn't expecting what they gave me. They gave me a hard-fought 20 minutes, and I was not expecting it to be what it was.
Yeah, and the main event, while it was short, it still it told a good story. Everybody got their stuff in.
Yeah.
Cena, Big Show, and RVD taking on the Wyatts. Of course, all of the baby faces coming out on top with all their signature moves, which kind of expected. But it was great. I thought the crowd. I got to tell you this: the Evansville crowd, although and you know this from being in a lot of the local shows, sometimes they're a fickle crowd, and sometimes they like specific stuff. You got a lot of quote unquote smart fans out there,
right?
But the crowd that was at the Ford Center last night was not that. that was a Cena crowd. That was a Sin Cara crowd, believe it or not.
Yeah,
it was like they were the kid. A lot of kids there, and Cena did not get a negative reaction. You heard a couple Cena sucks things, but it was a lot of kids.
Real quick before we move on from the house show, I think we disagree on this, but let me ask you: are you a house show guy or are you a TV taping guy?
I'm a house show guy. I'm absolutely a house show guy.
I love going to house shows. I've been to over 40 of them from the WWE, but I'll take a TV taping or a pay-per-view anytime.
Here's why I'm a house show guy. I like wrestling shows, and I feel like when you go to a house show, you get a wrestling show as opposed to a TV show.
And you can also interact with them. I mean, they're going to have fun with you, and it's geared towards you. But I feel like more stuff happens, and you can tell people, like, I was at the show when this happened.
That's true.
And I like that experience.
I get that, too. No Daniel Bryan last night, but let's talk about Daniel Bryan. Okay, I know he's had a rough week. His father passed away, so he wasn't at the show last night. Bree wasn't at the show last night. But I heard that they were going to give him off to the pay-per-view, but he's insisting to work tonight on Monday Night Raw. Here's my question about Daniel Bryan. I mean, this happening kind of affects it a little bit with his father passing away. I feel like he might end up being one of those downgraded champions. Let me ask you, Walt. You've watched wrestling all your life too. So I'm putting him maybe in the realm of like CM Punk's first title reign or like a Rey Mysterio title reign, where they're the champion. It's great. They finally get their due, but they're not really the main event.
You're talking like Eddie and things like that. Yeah. When they get their shot.
They get their shot, but they're still overshadowed by everything else that's going on. For example, you've got Evolution, and you've got The Shield, which is obviously the focus of this pay-per-view coming up at Extreme Rules. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, the thing I hate about it is Daniel Bryan put in his time. He's worked hard. He's way over the pan. I feel like there's a transition coming in the product at WWE, but I don't think they're ready to fully commit to that. So I think, they're testing the waters with Daniel Bryan, much as they did with Eddie and Chris Benoit back at the time.
Yeah.
They're trying to test in the waters, but I don't know that they're ready to commit full time to that. And there are still people that don't want to let their spot go too.
I know we had talked last week, and you kind of disagree with me on that. Do you still feel that way?
I actually strongly disagree with you. I feel the one thing that separates him from the guys like Mysterio that we were talking about is this guy is over like Austin was over in '98 when he won his world title, and he's working. Like, this is one of those rare instances where like the fan favorite happens to be the best on the show.
Right.
And that's when you have justice. Like, never was Hogan the best wrestler on a show. Someone like Daniel Bryan is, and I think that this was just a weird month in that he was so overexposed last month and had this stuff happen with his family and his wedding, and I think this month won't be the best example of it, but this title reign will be a very memorable one.
And I hope that's the case. I really do, for his sake.
I expect it to be.
Maybe time off camera is good for him. I don't know, but
well, he's been going so hard at it for the last 3 years. I mean, he's been the focus, whether it was with Kane and the tag teams, or whether it's singles run and denying him everything and then giving him everything. Maybe he needs a little time to step back and get his energy back up.
I like the heat that they gave Kane last week.
Yes.
I thought it was good, and it was a good way to get him.
Oh, that beatdown was so memorable.
Yeah.
That was a very effective beatdown.
Yeah.
And usually I don't like segments like that, but the stuff on the stairs, the stuff on the table, I don't usually mark out for that stuff, but it was brutal looking. I loved it.
I thought it was pretty good. Stephanie's work, though, I for some reason, and I've loved Stephanie's stuff lately, I didn't like her work Monday night.
I like the story that she told. I like how she kind of turned Kane into like Frankenstein's monster, and that he all of a sudden became too big for her, and now he can't control her. And you kind of needed her kind of howling from the ring to do that. And that's kind of what she does sometimes.
For some reason, I didn't feel her passion in that as much as I have in some of the other stuff, like her interaction with Batista and Orton recently. I didn't feel it in that one, and even as she finished it all off with "you bastard."
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't a Vince McMahon.
It wasn't convincing.
It was Stephanie kind of forcing it. But that's just how I felt. But overall, I thought the segment came off really good.
I liked how her screaming to stop was the soundtrack to everything that was going on.
Right.
So, what means she may not have hit a home run, but I liked what she was doing.
So here's a question to wrap this up. What do you think at Extreme Rules? Does Daniel Bryan close out the show versus Kane for the title, or will the six-man close out the show?
You're fighting a couple of things there, including Triple H, who still has his ego.
There's that.
There is that.
I mean, he did put him over clean at Mania.
Yeah, he did. I'll give him that.
He's got to get his heat back.
Yeah. So,
all right, I have a thought. I think that the title match will close the show.
Yeah. Okay.
I do, but I might be wrong.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll find out at Extreme Rules, which is this Sunday, and we'll see what happens tonight on Raw. Part 2 coming up. We will talk about the big IWA-U Adrenaline show in Fort Branch. Walt will tell us more about that right here at the Enhancement.